Now, there are also what we call transcortical sensory aphasias, right? And these are actually when Wernicke's area is intact, and so is the connection between Wernicke's and Broca's, the arcuate fasciculus. However, Wernicke's is, due to stroke or trauma, cut off from, some of these other components of, the posterior regions that are involved in language comprehension, including the angula gyrus. So there are a number of comprehension, difficulties that can be seen with a stroke or damage that maintains Wernicke's and Broca's and the connection between them, but again, damages links between Wernicke's and some of these other regions. So this indicates that there's a more distributed complex network in the posterior portions of the brain that are involved in language comprehension, that it's not just Wernicke's area. Again, some of the problems that people have are these what are called paraphasias, where they will basically replace a word with something that maybe sounds like it. I think the example I use in the overhead is, I slipped on the lice instead of the ice. And this is what we call a phonemic paraphasia. But you could also have a sort of semantic or verbal paraphasia. You could say, I worked on the television as opposed to I worked on the computer. But again, as with the transcortical motor aphasias, those with Wernicke's intact, but with separation of Wernicke's from these other regions in the posterior portion of the left hemisphere, who are diagnosed with what we call a transcortical sensory aphasia, they are able to repeat words and phrases, and it's assumed for the same reason that Wernicke's is still completely linked up with Broca's and with primary motor cortex via the arcuate fasciculus. That has not been damaged.